Hello, Royals fans, and welcome back into another episode of the Royals Roundup Podcast, episode 19. Today, we've officially reached the off-season here in Victoria, and I am pleased to be joined with a very special guest today, the fourth overall pick in the 2023 WHL Prospects Draft, Keaton Verhoeff. Keaton, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
So obviously, 2023 has been, I guess you could say, a whirlwind, and 2024 as well for yourself. Lots of ups, lots of things going on, moving different parts of your career. So if you could maybe define this past season in a couple words, how would you do so?
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly, honestly. It's been a whirlwind. It's been incredible, the opportunities I've had this year. I've been able to go travel the farthest place I've ever been in my life. So it's incredible to see where hockey's taken me this year in my life, and I'm just excited to see where it can take me in the future with the Royals and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and like you mentioned, the traveling aspect, we're going to get into that a little bit later, talking about the Youth Olympic Games. That must have been a crazy experience. But before we get into that, let's just go back to September, your first Royals training camp. So you come in, you've just been drafted 4 months earlier. You make your way into Victoria. What was your overall impression of the city of Victoria and just the team dynamics when you made your way here in September?
yeah, I think it was the camp itself was just exceptional. Like it's so professional. You come from a academy like RINK, where we try to strive to model our kind of basis off of junior teams and professional teams. And I think in Victoria it was so professional that I felt welcomed by the guys right away. And like the team dynamic it's so good. They're all really close with each other. We're all hanging out with each other. It's just it's incredible, honestly. We're seeing each other every day at the rink and getting to know the guys, even with me not playing there all year, just getting called up now and then. I still think I got to know some of the guys and got to build some good bonds this year. Yeah.
And what about your first impression? Had you been to after the draft? Had you been to Victoria, or was the training camp the first time that you got to step foot into the provincial capital?
Yeah, I came just a little bit after, just with my dad, but never really got to experience the city as much as I did at camp, especially with a couple days off here and there, which was good. But I think there's so many little ins and out of Victoria that if you can spend some time there, get to know all the cool things, but there's so many little details in that place that's just unreal, like a visit, like for tourists, and even like for me that's now been there for a little bit. It's an incredible city, to be honest. There's so much fun things to do. You could spend a day there walking around the harbor. You can go do other fun activities. Like it's awesome. I love it there.
Yeah, we definitely have it pretty good. Was there anything that you and your dad got to do in particular that you really enjoyed, maybe in the tourist aspect, or overall was it just an enjoyable experience?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the entire place is just so great. But I'd say we got to take a ride on the taxi boats a little bit. Those are pretty cool. You don't see those in Alberta, so I'm not used to seeing that big kind of open water. And yeah, just kind of walking around too. We spent a lot of time walking around the downtown, getting to know the area and kind of seeing what it has to offer. So yeah, it's all such a great place. It was such a great experience coming there for camp, and for that time I went with my dad too. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome. And as a part of your trip here out to September during training camp, you also got to play in some preseason games. Tell me about that for yourself. Did you have any expectations, anything that your goals that you were trying to set for yourself? I know you scored 2 goals, grabbed an assist as well in the 3 games, but just overall, tell me about your preseason experience.
Yeah, I think I was honestly just focused on kind of building my first impressions in Victoria, right? Like obviously they watched me last year throughout them building up for the draft, but I think it's a whole different level when you're playing junior and in the WHL and stuff like that. So I think I kind of wanted to go out there and prove myself that I can play at this level, and kind of make sure my mark on the team that I left was a good impression for even the guys, for the upper management and all that stuff. So it's kind of just it was, yeah, mostly just a building block, right? I obviously wanted to continue to play games that that same year with the Royals. So I kind of wanted to make sure I left with a good impression and could kind of maybe earn myself some games for for my 5 games I could play that next year. Yeah.
And you talked about it just a bit off the top there, the tight-knit group here in Victoria. Obviously, everyone can see how close the guys are together. But I guess my question for you would be, during your preseason games, obviously your first camp, was there one of the older players, maybe a leader, anyone that you went for advice, or someone that offered maybe some expertise just in your first camp?
Yeah, definitely. There's guys that you kind of can go to when you get more comfortable with them as they kind of introduce yourself. But honestly, I think all of them are so good. I mean, I could list off half of that team and even the other half, they would also be there always helping me. It's kind of, yeah, it's tough to kind of pinpoint a couple guys, but they're all so good. They're all good in helping me learn what the league's like and kind of helping me along the way. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can just imagine. So, of course, preseason comes to an end. You make your way back to Kelowna to join the U18 program out there. Obviously, a terrific year. We'll get into that. But just for yourself, after having the experience here in the WHL, I know it's just the preseason, but do you feel like that was a confidence boost for yourself, just carrying your play back to rink?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think playing the WHL even in the preseason games, like I said, it's a different speed, it's a different level, right? So you go back to my U18 team, and I think I was able to take some of my skills I learned from training camp and preseason and apply them to my like everyday game at rink. I think it kind of helped me with my decision making, adjusting to the speed and time and stuff like that. But I mean, U18 still it's so quick. We're still like it's still a pretty good league, so it's more of just the learning aspect, the little details I learn in Victoria from everyone there that I can help bring back and even teach my teammates too some of the stuff that I learned in Victoria and kind of just make our whole team together more like a more successful team in general.
And obviously for yourself included, as a 15-year-old playing in U18 hockey, that's something that I would imagine is huge for yourself, the decision-making factor. Obviously, some of the older players, they have the size, they have the experience, but do you think for yourself, the overall experience coming to Victoria for training camp and that decision-making helped you excel during the U18 level this year?
Yeah, definitely. I think with playing with not only just playing in Victoria, but watching these guys like Kipke, like Miski, like Zemlak, and all those guys making their quick decisions like behind the net, whether it's a quick reverse, a quick up, them deciding to skate, kind of seeing where they're choosing to do their time and place and what kind of activity they do off the ice as well. Like it's good to follow and bring that back here and kind of try to mimic my game almost out after them, kind of continue to learn from them and just kind of like make sure I'm playing the way that they like people want me to play and can make sure I can play the way that I know I can play and stuff like that. So
And for yourself, 7 goals, 20 assists, and 27 points in 22 games with RINK this season. Pretty impressive numbers for yourself there. But overall, not just individually, but as a team, tell me about your season with RINK this year.
yeah, it was great. We got to participate in some of the big tournaments like the Circle K, and we won one tournament. We won the Island Classic in Victoria. So yeah, I think this team this year is special. I mean, all the guys they're so hard. We're so hardworking. We're a good tight knit group, like in Victoria too. But I think everyone in Kelowna was willing to put the work, and I think that's what made us a strong team throughout the year and leading into playoffs. But yeah, I think most of our success obviously came from that factor that we worked so hard. We had so much skill, we had so much size. We were a great team. I mean, I could go and list off 10 things about every guy on this team that they can do amazing and they'll go on to the next level. I think with the team we had this year, there will be, I think, probably 95% of our team goes on to play junior next year. That's just how good of a culture and how good of a kind of skill team we had this year. So yeah, I think everything went well throughout the season, but we went into playoffs. We were feeling pretty good, and then we played well, and we just fell short in the semis to Northern Alberta Extreme. But I think we kind of learned from that, and we can all take it to our next year. Just kind of know how hard it is to win in playoffs, and like I learned that in Victoria too this year. Like it's a whole different game playing in playoffs, right? You don't have that. It's kind of like quick. You're going quick back and forth. You're playing the same team 4 times in a row, and you gotta show up 100% of the time, like every shift, every night to what it takes. And that's just kind of what I had to learn throughout these past 2 playoff kind of experiences I had. Yeah.
And just talking about the group that you had there at RINK, obviously you mentioned there's a lot of impressive players. A good portion they're going to move on and play in the WHL or other major junior leagues. So I know maybe putting you on the spot, was there any players in particular that you learned from, or any players that you were able to bounce ideas off of and maybe work as I know it's overall a team aspect, but maybe an individual partnership that you had that helped you take your game to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, like I said with Victoria, there's so many guys, but I think in Kelowna, we had a lot of skilled guys, right? We had Joe again, obviously, who is super skilled, great shot, like good skater, right? And then I learned a lot of stuff from him. I mean, he's a extremely good competitor too. So like to compete with him in games and practice, like I learned stuff from him all the time. And like even one of our older guys, McCarthy Richardson, he's one of our older guys on our team. He taught me a lot of stuff too, just about what he does, what he sees on the ice and stuff like that. And then I could go around the entire team with like Kelson Podwarney, incredibly skilled guy with the puck. He can shoot the puck as well, and like just another guy that's gonna be able to go play junior next year. And then I go to my like the defense on my team. I got Cal Stone, who's probably gonna play in Penticton next year. So it's a well-rounded group of guys we have on the team, and then obviously our coaches too, with Jerome and Patrick Weirkoch too, and James Eccles as well. Like they're all such high-tier coaches and high-tier players that it's easy to kind of learn from them and learn what they kind of did as a kid, what they did at our age to become better. And even Jerome says it quite a bit, like the stuff we're doing right now, he didn't have as a kid, and like the stuff that he wishes he knew as a kid, he's trying to put onto us, which is it's good for our development and everything like that.
And that actually leads perfectly into my next question. Just continuing on the learning aspect. Two pretty impressive head coaches when you look at it. Jerome McGinley at RINK, James Patrick here in Victoria, two NHL legends and icons in the game. So you mentioned a couple things there that Jerome's maybe said to you guys as a group, just about the learning outcomes and stuff like that. But what other takeaways have you got from the great players like James Patrick and Jerome McGinley as your coaches?
Yeah, I think some of the stuff I've learned from them is the most important stuff I've learned in my like short hockey career I've had so far. But especially with James Patrick, like he's taught me so much stuff, right? He's taught me the ins and outs of defense. Basically, he's trying to put a game into me that I didn't know I had at the start, which is it's made me a lot better this year. And I think obviously both of them have had so many experiences in their life and so much things that they learned from to pass on to us, which is it's an incredible opportunity I have both in Kelowna and Victoria, which is it's just pretty incredible to have both two NHL players in both Victoria and Kelowna. So yeah.
Yeah, no, pretty special. I can just imagine to have two guys like that to look up to. So we're going to move back. Of course, we talked about your season with RINK, but you got your first recall with the Victoria Royals at the start of December, and you got your 5 games played leading into Christmas break, including being a part of the Teddy Bear Toss game, which would be pretty cool as well. But what was the first feeling? I know obviously you're in the midst of a season with RINK, but when you first found out that you're going to be recalled just before Christmas and get your first WHL game, what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was crazy. I almost didn't get to hear about it, to be honest. I was in science class and my teacher has a strict no phones policy. But I got the phone call and I took it out of my pocket briefly and I like told her like I gotta go answer this quickly, and she's like, fine, you got 2 minutes. So I went out there and answered, and they told me I was getting called up, and I was ecstatic. I was so excited to go up, finally get the opportunity to play. I mean, I've been trying to build towards playing in the WHL my whole life. Like I have my cousins that play in the WHL, my uncle played in the WHL. So it's just been a thing for me ever since I was a little kid. And yeah, I've just been building to make sure I can keep working to play in the WHL and honestly and try to thrive in the WHL and try to continue to play my best game and stuff like that.
And that's a crazy story. First off, that's a pretty cool way to find out. You make your way to Victoria. You get to play your first game at a very interesting building in Seattle. You guys take on the Seattle Thunderbirds. So you get to go on for your rookie lap. What was the feeling going onto the ice for the first time, knowing the guys were waiting for behind you? Was that something that you could prepare for at all, or was it pretty cool?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know if you can prepare for it anymore. I mean, I think a couple of my buddies at RINK, we would always pretend to do some of our rookie laps and stuff like that. But no, I think it's honestly one of the coolest experiences that I have in my life. You go out there by yourself, especially in that Seattle building. They're so loud. I go out there, I hear them booing too. It's just kind of it just flew by, to be honest. Like I got out there, I shot, and then I feel like I just blanked out for a little bit. It was yeah, something that I'll definitely remember forever and kind of learn to not get booed, I guess. I don't know.
I think that's a compliment though to your game as well. If they're booing you that early, they probably know you're an impressive player. So, moving on to obviously you play your 3 games on the road with the Royals, then you guys make your way back in Victoria, and I briefly mentioned it there, but you get to play a part of the teddy bear toss game right before Christmas. I know that just adds to the whole element as well. So, first off, what was your experience like playing your first home game in Victoria, and B, what was it like getting to see the teddy bear toss goal?
Yeah, it was cool to play my first home game in Victoria. It's almost like a whole nother first game, to be honest. Get to see that atmosphere we have in Victoria, get to see the fans and engaged in the game, and playing in the teddy bear toss game was obviously a really cool experience. Getting all those teddy bears chucked on the ice almost every time we had to look over my shoulder after we scored, make sure I wasn't getting hit in the head with one. But yeah, it was really fun to play in that game. I think it was an exciting game too. We had a big comeback that game, I think. So it was pretty awesome to play in that game.
And then switching the calendar from 2023 to 2024, another huge opportunity for yourself. You get to represent Canada at the Youth Olympic Games, end of January. First off, what was the first feeling that you felt when you found out that you were going to be representing the Team Canada?
Yeah, I found out right in that when I was called up in December too. So
Okay.
I got the call just right after practice. My phone had a whole bunch of calls, so I had to call him back. And I called him. He said, "Congrats, you made the team." And I was kind of honestly surprised, but relieved as well. And just all that, like that's a long process, right? You have to there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on behind the scenes to get into that thing. So I was starting, I think, honestly, right after the draft, I want to say last June, I started probably preparing for that and entering forms and doing all this stuff to kind of help my chances to make this team. And yeah, I think it was a crazy, crazy call that I got. Every kid dreams obviously to represent Team Canada. And that day was just kind of like a really special day for me. I called my mom, my auntie, my grandpa, and my dad too, and just kind of told them, and they're like, yeah, they just said that's incredible. And yeah, I don't know. I was pretty ecstatic, to be honest.
Yeah, I can just imagine that must have been a pretty special moment for yourself and your family. The page turns, you get to go in South Korea. Unbelievable. Would you ever imagine before, maybe a couple of years ago, that you'd be playing hockey there for any kind of tournament?
Yeah, no, I definitely never thought I would be playing in South Korea. I never thought I would even go to South Korea. So that was my first time traveling across the sea. So it was a crazy experience getting to go there. The seeing like all the fans and like just the stuff we were playing in the building that they played in the 2018 Olympics, and
Mhm.
so it's a nice rink, nice facilities, and like we were treated like all stars there. It was amazing. I mean, obviously Hockey Canada is such a professional brand that they treat everything with such a respect and such professionalism, I guess. But even when you go there, we went and watched a game. We went and watched some of the games and stuff like that. You'd go to the rink. There's little areas sectioned off for just the athletes to go and watch. And there would be fans. They would in between periods we went and watched one of the games. There was probably 100 people standing 10 feet below us, just taking videos of us and photos of us, which was just crazy, something I've never experienced, like quite that insane. But yeah, it was cool. I got to meet a whole bunch of different people from a bunch of different places, right? See all those different cultures they have in different countries and different kind of stuff. And yeah, I think it was also a really cool moment for me this year. Just one of the many that I got to experience. So
And just kind of wrapping up the Youth Olympic Games there, fourth place finish for you guys for Team Canada. You got a goal along the way as well, part of a leadership group. overall experience outside of the actual physically being at the Youth Olympic Games, what can you tell me in your memory of the actual the hockey?
Yeah, I think obviously, I mean, we didn't obviously get what we wanted to do there. We wanted to be one of the first teams to win a gold medal there for Hockey Canada, but I think we played well. We had a couple tough upsets in shootout, but I think all the guys in our team, we had one goal at the start of the tournament was to win gold. And I mean, when you lose in the semis to in a tough 6-5 shootout to the United States, it's tough to come back the next day. I mean, we obviously wanted to win a medal and just place, but yeah, it wasn't what we wanted to do. We kind of lost our like not motivation. We lost our kind of strive for that after we lost. We didn't quite have that the rolling. We were rolling through lines, rolling through everything in those first couple of games, and then we lost to the United States, and we kind of just hit a wall for a little bit, and had to come back the next day and compete in a game against Finland, and it didn't go our way that day. I think we started off really strong and had let off the gas a little bit. We came back at the end, but we just couldn't just couldn't finish it, which was too bad. I mean, all the guys on our team were so good. I think we all competed as hard as we could too. Like we weren't going out with just that mentality of being like, oh well, like we're at the Youth Olympics. We were
Yeah.
going out with all the way. We're going out putting everything we have out there. So yeah, we obviously didn't get what we wanted to, but it was fun to kind of go there and play and meet all those guys too. Like now with the OHL draft is happening, I know a whole bunch of guys that just got drafted over there that I would never have known if I didn't go to those games. So
Yeah, no, and then like you said, nonetheless, those connections are going to be something you'll have for the rest of your life, and a very cool experience to carry with it as well. So that must have
yeah.
been great. We'll move on now. Beginning of March, you get recalled by the Royals. Of course, you've just before you finish your season with RINK and get the playoffs to get your second recall of the year. What did you make of your second stint with the Royals, and how much did you learn from the first one that you got to carry into your time here in March?
Yeah, I think the first stint was super good. I think I kind of got to learn the league, and as I got into my second recall, I just kind of kept building on what I had in the first half of the year. But the second recall was really fun. We got to travel down to the States, got to play a couple of those games. I got a brief look at Portland, and yeah, I think it was pretty fun to go and play those games. Obviously me getting a couple extra games than the normal 08. So I kind of got a fun experience to go up and just play and have just build on what I had and try to make sure that I'm putting a good impact on the team and helping the team in whatever way I can. Because I mean, obviously, I'm a younger guy, so I'm just trying to go out there, find my role, and find out what I can do to make our team successful.
And you get your first WHL point against the Portland Winterhawks on March 2nd, an assist against Portland. So, what do you remember about that play?
Yeah, I thought I just saw the puck there. I jumped into the rush a little bit, grabbed it. I think I turned back and just fired it across the ice. I honestly can't really nod your head at me too much. I just made a simple play. You gotta give it all really to Dawson and Tyson, but I think it was pretty cool to do that. Kind of get that first point off the board and just kind of take a deep breath and realize that I can play here and I can read the game and I can make plays and do that stuff. So yeah, it was really fun to get that first one off the board.
No, I can just imagine the first goal won't be too far behind, I'm sure, coming into the future. You get to finish the season with the Royals, the two games against Wenatchee Wild, and then you roll into the postseason. Not just playing in the postseason, you get to play in a pair with NHL drafted prospect Justin Kipke. You guys became a very dynamic duo on the blue line in those final two regular season games and into the playoffs. So before we talk about the playoffs as a whole, how much did you learn from a player like Justin Kipke, getting to play with him on a day-to-day basis and just seeing the way that he plays the game?
Yeah, I learned a lot. Obviously, him being a high draft pick is it's incredible to learn from him. He's got so much mobility, such a good skater, really good shot. You kind of just watch him in practice and watch the way he kind of moves around the rink, watch the way everything he does. It's pretty incredible. He just got such a good manner to him, and he helped me out a lot, right? He was always there for me if I was making a mistake. He was always there to support me and stuff like that. So it was good to have him on the ice as well to have him off the ice is a good resource for me. Yeah, was quite the honor to be able to play with him and just try to match what he can do on the ice and help the way I can support him, though hopefully as well as he supports me. But I think it was pretty cool to play with him. Got to play some good time with him, and it was fun. I liked it.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely was good to watch from my point of view, and I'm sure the fans as well. So that's something to look forward to as well. Just kind of talking about the playoffs as a whole. I know the result, not the one that the group wanted in the end, but for yourself, getting a chance to play playoff hockey in the WHL as a 15-year-old, what does that mean to you when you think about that? And in a couple of years now, you're going to get a chance to look back on this.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, well, not only for me, but for the team too. It was, I think, 6 years, right? Or
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah.
5 years since last time they were in the playoffs. And I think that just us getting back in the playoff was a good step. I mean, obviously we wanted more and we wanted to compete for a little longer and see what we could have done to make a story out of it and see us, who was a 7 seed, come and play a 2 seed Portland and try to make a good series out of it, which I think we did. I think we honestly we lost 4, but I think we competed well. There were some close games. We had some leads, and for me, I just learned how much it takes to win a playoff game, right? You can't win it with 80% of the game played really well. You have to be playing 100% of the game to your full capability, which was good for me to learn this year.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that's going to be instrumental going forward in your career as well. So something good to look back on as well. And as we kind of wrap up today's episode, I just kind of want to talk about the summer. I know a big summer ahead for yourself as you continue to try and build to that next level, and the season starting here upcoming September. But do you have any big goals or anything in particular that you're going to be working on this summer to try and elevate your game to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm definitely gonna be trying to get bigger, faster, stronger, all those normal stuff you would see. But I think for me, it's basically just about speed, right? I'm a younger guy, a bigger guy as well. I want to make sure I have a quick foot speed to be able to keep up with the game and make plays and hustle back to pucks and kind of be able to have more time on the ice and try to and create time for myself as well. I think it's going to take a lot of hard work this summer, but I think on the ice with my power skating coaches, going to the gym, getting my legs stronger, and just making sure I have the engine to kind of continue when I get that foot speed up, making sure I have the engine to maintain that foot speed throughout a full 60-minute game. So I'm going to focus on becoming a faster player, but obviously I'm still young, so I got to make sure I'm getting stronger over the summer too, just kind of to catch up with those older guys and make sure I can compete and battle with those older guys in the league next year.
And last question for you. I know you have just about 2 months left of school because, of course, you're still a high school student, but looking ahead to the summer and outside of your goals to continue to elevate your game on the ice, do you have any fun summer plans? Is the family taking any vacation, or is it just home going back to the regular life in Alberta?
Yeah, no, I think we're not gonna do anything too crazy this summer. I'll go back to Fort Saskatchewan, kind of get to see my family first for the summer, which is good. I enjoy it in Fort Saskatchewan. It's really nice to see all my buddies too. Yeah, nothing too big. Gonna maybe go see a couple of my friends that play with me in Kelowna. They're not too far. They're about 3 hours away from me, so I'll go see a couple of them over the summer. Go to the lake a little bit, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun summer this year. But I think I'll try to make the most of it as these summers start to dwindle down as I get to my ending years of high school here.
Yeah, it comes quick, I'll tell you that. Uh, Keaton, thank you so much for joining me today, man. It was a real pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you continue to grow here in Victoria.
Awesome. Thanks for having me today.
My pleasure.